My vision was pitch black as I was led into a room. I didn't know where I was going to, and when I heard the loud explosive sound, I shuddered in fear. The blindfold came off, and I smiled as I saw my dad with a present.
Happy birthday, Danny. Here's your present.
Hi, my name is Daniela, and welcome to my 17th birthday party. I opened the box, and wow, it was the most beautiful wristwatch.
Let me see that.
But Mom didn't let me have it. By the way, that's Precious. She is my stepmom.
This must have cost you a fortune, honey. We shouldn't be spoiling the kids.
I looked at Precious with wide eyes. Guess there were different rules for my brother. He always got everything he wanted.
I'll sell this and get something small for her. You wouldn't mind that, honey, would you?
And my dad just nodded. He does that quite often, actually. Stop nodding. Do something, Dad.
Let's eat cake now?
That's my brother, Mason. He's the one. Ugh. He is my real brother, but never treats me like his own. We all moved to the living room to cut the cake. I froze in shock as I stared at the hideous cake. Is that mine?
Obviously.
Unbelievable! The cake had Mason's name on it, and I could not believe Precious messed up the only thing she promised to do for me. And she was smiling at me all this while.
It says Mason on it.
Finally, Dad. I'm glad you called that out.
Yeah, but we sure can't let it go to waste now, can we?
Precious cut me a huge slice, and the moment I took a bite, my whole face began to swell up.
Did you get her a cake with raisins
Precious
in it?
nodded her head, and my dad gave her a disappointed look. How could she not know I was allergic to raisins? I knew she did it on purpose. I hate you! I was admitted to the hospital, and thankfully the swelling subsided. The next day, I woke up to someone pounding on my door.
I am going to break down this door if you don't open it now!
I opened the door and found Precious and brother all dressed up.
I need you to watch your brother. I'll be back soon.
But I am still recovering.
You know your dad is sick. It's the least you can do.
I felt all the blood drain from my face. My dad is sick? Can I come with you? Is he here at the hospital? I really want to see him. She ignored me and gave my brother a peck on his cheek.
You don't have to freak out, dear. I hope you know your treatment has only added to our money woes, Daniela.
I was discharged from the hospital and headed home with Mason. I found it difficult to pay attention to anything as I got worried about my dad. And a couple of hours later, Mom came home with a lot of shopping bags.
What happened here?
I looked around and noticed that my brother had broken our TV. Mom actually loves that TV even more than Mason.
It was Daniela.
I didn't do anything. She marched toward me, dragged me by the hand, and locked me to the attic. Tell me, is Dad fine?
What you need to know is that he won't be saving you anymore.
She looked at me in glee and slammed the attic door shut in my face. My head got blank for a few seconds, and it took me a moment to realize what had just happened. I spent the rest of the day worried sick about my dad. Mom and Mason didn't seem to care as the sound of their laughter filtered around the house. The next morning, Precious let me out of the attic to go to school, and on our way, I asked her if I could come with her to the hospital to see Dad. She refused before I could finish my statement. Once we reached school, I waited for her to leave. While I was waiting, I watched an amazing video on Hear My Story. It was about how a girl busted a kidnapper with the help of his bully. Cool concept. You should also check out Hear My Story on YouTube. I skipped school the moment Precious left and took a bus to the hospital. I saw Precious at the reception hall the moment I walked in. When she left, I tried to come out of hiding, but two nurses grabbed me and tied my hands. What's happening? Let me go! Let me go! I kicked and screamed, but nothing happened. I was taken to a room where a smiling doctor looked surprised to see me. The smiling doctor apologized to me and explained that I looked just like his patient who had run away. He said that the patient was cuckoo. Sure, Precious is making me go cuckoo. Finally, my hands were freed, and the nurses helped me locate my dad's room. When I got to my dad's room, I hid behind the door as I watched Precious bring out a Ziploc bag filled with tiny bottles.
I need you to use everything on him.
I expected the doctor to object, but he didn't. He was in on Precious's plan. Were they trying to kill my dad? So I ran to Precious and yanked the Ziploc bag out of her hands. I wouldn't let you do this to him. Precious looked very mad as she stared at me.
That's your dad's insulin shot. Stop being so dramatic all the time.
Why would my dad need insulin shots?
Your dad is diabetic and he didn't want you to know.
Tears rolled down my cheeks as I heard this. Why did Dad hide this from me? I followed Precious home like a zombie and slept off to ease my sadness. But Precious mentioned Dad will be back today, and I was elated. The next morning, as I was decorating the house to welcome back Dad, I found 2 police officers walking out of our house. Mom, is something wrong?
Your dad passed away in an accident last night.
But wasn't he at the hospital?
He was discharged and coming home when it happened, dear.
No, this can't be true. Why would Dad leave me here alone? Why? I didn't even get to see him once. I spent the next hour on the same spot, and my head ached terribly. I went to Precious's room to ask for an aspirin, but stopped by her door when I heard her laughing.
You flatter me too much, Jerry.
Jerry? Who could that be? I walked into the room and watched Precious end the call abruptly.
Don't you know how to knock?
Your door was open.
What do you want? I need to be left alone to mourn properly.
An aspirin? Precious put a tablet of aspirin into my hands and pushed me out of her room. Well, that was odd. As I took the aspirin, I heard a knock on the door and ran to open it.
Oh, Danny, I'm so sorry for your loss.
That was Noelle, my dad's lawyer. Soon, Precious pushed me aside as she led the lawyer into the living room, shutting the door on my face. I had to find out what was going on. So, when I got to the living room, I learned that Precious had called the lawyer to read my dad's will.
So 80% of the money goes to Daniela, while 20% goes to you and Mason.
I don't believe it!
But, as her legal guardian, you get to be in control of the money until she turns 18.
Finally, some good news.
Precious couldn't hide her excitement, and at that point, all I wanted was for my dad to come home. I woke up the next day expecting everything to be a dream, but it wasn't.
Daniela, Mom wants you downstairs for the party.
We were having a party? It was Dad's remembrance meeting. I was shocked to see the large crowd gathered in the house. There was a picture of Dad with flowers arranged beside it. Mason, what is going on? Where is Mom?
It's a party for Dad, duh. And Mom is in the kitchen.
Stop calling it a party, you jerk! As I went to the kitchen, I wondered why Mason was talking like that.
You should have been down here minutes ago.
I noticed that our whole kitchen was filled with different types of food. Mom, what's going on?
I need you to take this out to our guests. Ensure everyone is fed.
Could this day just end already? I walked out of the house in annoyance before Precious could finish her sentence. But instead of arranging snacks, I went to my dad's favorite tea spot in the city and cried the moment I sat down. I missed him so much.
A kind man said I should give this to you.
I looked at the cup of tea strangely and saw that there was a note attached to it. It said, "Wait, all of this shall make sense, pumpkin." I read it and almost knocked over my tea. The handwriting was my dad's. I ran home with the note and showed it to Precious.
This isn't your dad's handwriting.
Precious tore the note and threw it into the trash.
You're in shock. It's your imagination playing games with you. Clear up the kitchen if you have nothing better to do.
It was his writing. I knew it. I ignored Precious and went up to my room. I couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to my dad's accident than what I was told. I checked the internet to see if I could find out more about the accident, but slept midway.
Are you really sleeping when you have things to do?
Precious pulled me by the ear and dragged me into the kitchen.
Do not leave this kitchen until it's clean and spotless.
I stared at the heap of dishes in the sink and the dirty stains on the floor. This had to be a dream, right? Now that my dad is gone, I'm being treated as a maid. But I did what had to be done. Later, as I tried to get some sleep in my room, and the moment I closed my eyes, I heard a knock on the door. I guess I am not getting any sleep today. The moment I opened the door, Precious dropped a small brown bag on my feet.
Your brother and I are going on a trip. That'll be your groceries for the week.
I looked through the content of the bag and I could only see 2 packs of chips. You're going to leave me home alone for a week?
Duh, do you have something in your ears?
I think she does.
Precious laughed out loud like he had said the funniest thing in the world. And once they were done laughing at me, they walked away without a goodbye. Once I had gotten enough sleep, I went into Precious's room to get some clues. I knew she was hiding something, and I had to get it. Her clothes were littered everywhere, and as I tried to tidy up, I noticed a DNA test report. It said, my brother was not my real brother. I quickly took a picture of it and sent it to my dad's lawyer. A few minutes later, my dad's lawyer arrived and examined the document.
This document proves that your dad must have suspected Mason wasn't his.
Does that mean he is a love child? Precious had an affair?
It looks that way.
Did my dad say anything about this to you?
Yes, he did. And I guess it's time you knew the truth.
My dad's lawyer led me to his car, and when we got there, I saw someone that looked just like my dad.
Hi, Danny.
OMG, is this a ghost? The man who looked like my dad walked towards me and hugged me tightly.
It's me, Danny. I'm sorry you had to go through this alone.
When we got inside, my dad explained how Precious had poisoned him and also tried to kill him on his way home.
I overheard her talking in the hospital and had to fake my own death.
I really thought you were gone.
I would never leave you. I promise.
The week went by in a blur, and I had so much fun with my dad. Precious came home on a Sunday, and the moment she walked in, she screamed in shock.
Tyler?
You can't get rid of me that easily.
Both Mom and my brother looked shocked. My dad called the cops on Precious before she could run away along with his lover, Jerry, who plotted this along with her.
Would you like to stay with us, Mason?
And that was how we ended up being a perfect family of 3. And I never felt unloved again. The end. Psst! Want to be part of an exclusive club where the craziest stories come to life? Subscribe to hear my story, and you'll get VIP access to mind-bending stories that will leave you speechless. So, don't be a bystander, be an insider. Hit subscribe now. And after that, watch these other stories. Love ya!